Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome to part 2. We've done the rest, now to the best of 2022. Number 5. The Last Bot Standing. Ran by Nick Roach with E.J. Sue on illustrations, this is a sci-fi western story that focuses on Rodimus Prime, who's under the belief that he is the last Autobot. Hell, he thinks he might be the last Cybertronian, as though the war is over, his people were not at peace, as there are unfortunately a loss of energon and very few resources to harvest it. He's come by this planet full of aliens who are right now in this kind of old western point in time, and discovers that there's some strange events going on, only to learn that he is not the last Cybertronian, as there's a group led by Steeljaw, who some might recognize from the Robots in Disguise series, who have malevolent plans for these people. It's a quick read, but a really fun one too. Again, it very much embraces the Western style, as Rodimus kinda is seen as a Rooster Cogburn type of character, just a guy who is just tired and really has no time for people's crap, but still feeling like Rodimus, as he does have a master responsibility. And also, we do get to see some bots shine, including introducing new characters like Steeljaw's sister, Sharpclaw, and a really messed up version of Moon from the Japanese exclusive series Beast Wars 2nd. Yeah, that cutesy little bunny is really messed up. I will say that I do think it's a bit too short, but due to the fact that IDW at that time just got the news that they were going to be losing the rights, probably had to speed a few things up. There's also a bit of an Ex-Duke Machina moment in some scenes, but all around, not bad, and I did have fun with it. It's definitely more than meets the eye. Number 4. Batman Failsafe. This is the beginning of Chip Zdarsky's run, and I have to say, Chip, you did good. This was an amazing start. The story starts simplest enough of Batman just trying to solve a crime and discovering the Penguin is involved, only for the Penguin to actually die and making everyone think Batman killed him. Pretty standard story by this point, since there are tons of stories where Batman has been framed for murder, and even Bruce kind of admits that, yeah, this won't last long. But things start to get complicated as a mysterious robot by the name of Failsafe shows up and attacks the Bat family. And no matter what Batman does, Failsafe seems to be able to counter each attack, getting to the point where Batman is so desperate that he actually reawakens the Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, which if you are a Grant Morrison fan, you know what that means. This is a really entertaining story, and Chip is just having a ball diving into the Batman mythos, and not just the grim and gritty, but the fantastical, as yeah, this story starts off on the streets, but then we have a scene of Batman trying to survive breaking into the Earth's atmosphere. I will not explain how it happens, but trust me, it is amazing. The only real complaint I had with it is really the whole thing with Tim Drake. At some point, I'll probably talk about it in its own video, but I have not been happy with Tim Drake taking back the mantle of Robin. It just feels redundant and kind of a demotion of his character. And before someone says, well, you know, he got kicked out of the job as Robin, well, so was Dick Grayson, but he didn't immediately return to the role either. But again, that is a whole other story that can be talked about in its own video. But yeah, I wasn't a big fan of how they seem to be trying so hard to let us have Tim Drake be Robin again, since though I do know there are some fans who do think that it's great that he's Robin, I feel like it's kind of a step backwards to his character. Failsafe is a pretty cool villain and actually reminds me a lot of Dave from The Batman, especially with his design. All around, it's a fun story, and I've already enjoyed Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run, so I'm curious to see how he's going to be handling Batman after this story. Number 3. Radiant Black Volume 3 Rogues Gallery. Now, this is going to be a real quick one, since I actually do plan on talking about the Radiant Black and the several spin-offs that the book has created. So all I'll say is that if you enjoy Spider-Man, Invincible, and Power Rangers, you're gonna freaking love this. In fact, Robert Kirkman, the writer of Invincible, has openly said that if you miss Invincible, this is a series to read, and I definitely have to agree. Though we do have a lot of crazy supervillains and insane cosmic events, it's also very grounded when it comes to the personal issues characters are going through, particularly with the two main leads, Marshall and Nathan, as we have these two men in their early to mid-20s trying to figure out what exactly they want to do with their lives and prove to themselves and others that they are more than just a bunch of slackers and failures. It's a very powerful series, and the only real gripe that I would have regarding Volume 3 is that, yeah, if you haven't been following the series, you would get seriously lost, but I will say if you've just started reading it, please continue. You will not be disappointed. Number 2. Axe Judgment Day. Yeah, I know the title says Avengers, X-Men, Eternals, but whatever, this is quicker. Axe Judgment Day is the big event that Marvel has done recently, and I have to say this is probably the best event they have done in a long time. Yeah, there was King in Black last year, but that was more a Venom-centric story that just had the entire Marvel Universe involved. This one really felt like the Marvel Universe was all together in this one. As we have the three factions, the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Eternals, deal with something that is way more interesting than just a bunch of heroes fighting, though we do get a little bit of that. And here we have the simple question of, what happens when God shows up and says that you're screwed? It's a very powerful story, and it also has some very satisfying moments of characters getting called off for their bullcrap. Since, yeah, if you've been following Marvel, there's a lot of characters that have been getting away with too much, and this book finally addresses it. This is a story that was a long time coming. It was great. Now, before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. Okay, I'm putting this message in both videos, but just letting you guys know, I decided to stop after talking about 5 through 2 on both videos and just wait for me to get over this bug so I wouldn't sound so worn out when talking about the honorable mentions and the dishonorable mentions and the number 1s. So if you're wondering why I immediately sound so clear, that's why. Batman Beyond the White Knight. Really awesome series, amazing art, but it's not done yet, so it's not on the list. Transformers Shattered Glass 2. Really fun, always a fan of mirror universes, but unfortunately I was not able to get all the issues, so yeah, that's why. Spider-Punk. Love the art, love the characters. It's a great tribute to punk music and punk culture in general, but I felt the ending was way too rushed, and there are some parts I just felt like they should have explored a little bit more. And my number 1 favorite comic of 2022, Black Sad. They All Fall Down Part 2. Yeah, I know it technically came out in 2021, but it just got translated in the US this year. So, yeah, to me, this technically does still count. Plus, it's Black Sad. You know I'm gonna be covering Black Sad. It's one of my favorite comic book series, and this story is no exception. We get to see John go really deep undercover. We have Weekly really step up as a character, and a slew of new characters, including a really awesome antagonist who has a really amazing opening. I'd get more into it, but you know I'm going to cover it in a future video at some point, but know that this year goes to the cat. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe, and have a happy new year. I know that this year has been kind of complicated when it comes to scheduling, but one of my New Year's resolutions is to manage that and try to schedule these videos more ahead of time before there can be any complications, but only time will tell. Again, thanks for watching, thanks for following. I hope you had a good year. Happy New Year, everyone.